No one can ever argue with the fact that Gavin Hunt is one of the greatest coaches in the PSL era. Unfortunately, the latter part of his career has been more of being known for his murmuring and complaining. But are some of the complaints unreasonable? Can they be justified? Well, in this episode, we quickly want to just go through his career, his time at Kaizer Chiefs, the business model at Supersport. Does it suit a Gavin Hunt? Has Gavin Hunt adopted and embraced, the modern football trends? Well, I go by the name of Oscar. It's a football where I discuss anything to do with football, from Africa to the world and from the world to Africa. One thing you'll admire about a coach, Gavin Hunt, he's one type of a coach who'll take anyone walking alongside the road, anyone, and transform him into a soccer player. Who would have thought that Lungisani Ndlela could make it in Premiership football? And Mameni Young, there's countless players that from the outside you wouldn't really think they are footballers. This guy went to Black Leopards and he really, really made a formidable side in that part of the world. Ludoda Dover were a tough nut to crack at home. And Coach Gavin didn't really have resources. If you watch the old videos, Black Leopards training, these guys literally did not have even a training ground. But Coach Gavin went there and made use of what he had. And at Black Leopards, he really made something out of Black Leopards. And Black Leopards were a team that fought anyone. He then moved on to Moroka Swallows. At some point, I think they were runners up, and I'm not really sure if he won anything at Moroka Swallows. But where he had most success was definitely at Supersport United. At Supersport, that's where he actually won most of his trophies. He won 3 leagues in a row. For a small team, that is a huge, a great achievement. A lot of players made a name for themselves at Supersport. And there's some players Gavin Hunt brought from outside the country that were known to the Premiership. And they were good players. How can we forget it? Dennis Onyango, a Fikru. There was a Fikru guy who played for, was from Ethiopia. And there were some young players from the academy, players he also bought from other teams, your Pochenpool. There's a whole lot of players who played under Gavin Hunt that way, who just excelled. Your Malulega, free kick specialist, Kekana also played under Gavin Hunt, just improved. So Gavin Hunt is definitely a great coach in the PSL era, no doubt about that. He then moved on to DstvPrem. I think this is a club, probably the first club that had a proper budget for a coach. And that's where Gavin Hunt really picked and chose who he wanted. Your Tysons were there. There was a whole lot of good players. At some point I think there was a Murray striker from Scotland or somewhere in the UK. Was also there. He bought an Egyptian. There's a whole lot of players who were there. Your Kolim Lambo, your Sfiso, decent players. And Coach Gavin Hunt won the league for DstvPrem. And unfortunately, whatever happened with DstvPrem selling the franchise. And it's just unfortunate. But this episode is really about looking at the complaints of Gavin Hunt in recent times. Are they unreasonable? Can they be justified? He recently lost Pretoria Derby to Mamelodi Sundowns. He claimed that Mamelodi Sundowns should have beaten them 8-0, considering the number of players Supersport has sold to Mamelodi Sundowns. It's the same coach who lost to Polokwane City 4-1 in the Cullen Cup Black Label, and now he claims that Mamelodi Sundowns is supposed to beat him 8-0. I mean, if you count the number of complaints this season alone from Coach Gavin Hunt, I mean, it's countless. You could fill a page. At some point, he was complaining about the home ground. At some point, he was complaining about his bench is thin. If the bench is not thin, it's filled with matriculants. It's just murmuring and complaining back. I mean, this one after this one, that one after that one. And which really now comes to the big question at the one I really wanted to address of is the model used by Stan Matthews and the management, does it suit a Gavin Hunt at this stage? Because clearly the business model they are using now compared to the business model that was used when they won the league some years ago, obviously it's not the same. Yes, they were a selling club then, but this time around they are more reliant on their academy, and they sell a whole lot of their players to bigger clubs. I mean, they sold Maswangan to Orlando Pirates. Some players left for free to Kaizer Chiefs, and a number of their players they go to Mamelodi Sundowns, because Mamelodi Sundowns is probably the only football club in South Africa that is willing to pay whatever the mother club demands, and they have a good relationship with Mamelodi Sundowns. Whatever player Mamelodi Sundowns wants at Matsatsantsa, they will get. And I sometimes ask myself this question: if Gavin Hunt, he knew about this before he signed a contract last season to coach Supersport. He knew that Supersport they are aggressively selling their best players, and why sign the contract and then later on complain that all of your players are being sold to Mamelodi Sundowns? Why did you come? Why did you agree to sign to Supersport United? I feel like he's unfair to his management. I feel like he's unfair to Stan Matthews it's almost like being hypocritical. Hence, I was saying in the beginning, the latter stage of his coaching career, he's sounding more like a Jose Mourinho, which now also comes to the second question, which was, a Jose Mourinho and a Gavin Hunt, have they embraced, the modern trends of football? Have they evolved as coaches, or they are just stubborn in sticking to the ways they started? They started when they started coaching, the way they've been doing things in the olden times. A Gavin Hunt is a typical, English football coach, relying on wing play, relying on set plays, relying on a big striker up top, big physical defenders. Hence, a whole lot of you will not have a ball-playing defender under Coach Gavin Hunt, even if you are one, but you will not be used for that. You will be used for your physique and for your height. That's why he's loyal to your Tyson, to your Sianda Kolu, a whole lot of the whole of these defenders, and that's your Coach Gavin Hunt. I remember at some point he was an analyst, I think, for a World Cup on AFCON. He's not a fan of playing from the back, and that's a trend that's been embraced and adopted by a whole lot of coaches. I mean, if a coach who's coaching a small team in England, like a Brighton, is embracing such trends, then what is wrong with the Coach Gavin Hunt? It's the same thing I also see with Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho is still the same Mourinho we saw at Chelsea in the early 2000s, counter-attacking coach, pragmatic, defend, and then play on transition. Same thing with Stuart Baxter. These coaches, it's almost like they are refusing to adapt to new trends in football. The business model at Matsatsantsa does not suit a Gavin Hunt. Gavin Hunt wants a budget where he can get his type of players. he's not, or he has not embraced the new, the modern football trends. And the other one is his time at Kaizer Chiefs. I think it was a bit unfortunate there because he went to Kaizer Chiefs when Kaizer Chiefs was under a ban where they could not sign any players. Had he been given a budget to at least sign his type of players, I think we would have been talking a different story today. He was really unfortunate at Kaizer Chiefs because he had a check to get the type of players he wanted. Definitely, things would have been different for him. But with all said and done about Coach Kevin, Coach Kevin is a brilliant coach, no doubt about it. I might not really like his style of play, but he's a big personality, big character, and he's a serial winner. He'll get you a win, however, whenever, and I really celebrate this guy. Obviously, you might not agree with what I'm saying, but it's an opinion, and football is a game of opinions. And yes, if you are seeing this content and this face for the first time, and you did like on what I've spoken about, comment on the section below. Tell me what you have thought of Gavin Hunt, his journey in the PSL. Do tell. What have you really taken from his complaints about Supersport or Stan Matthews selling the best at Matsatsantsa to Mamelodi Sundowns? He's complaining about the home ground, Atteridgeville. The next thing is not Atteridgeville, it's Bombela, the distance and traveling. It's just a whole lot of things. What have you made of Gavin Hunt's career? Do you think he's got a chance of going back maybe at Kaizer Chiefs, since he was just unfortunate the first time? Can he coach an Orlando Pirates team? Yeah, let me hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video on all your socials. Thank you for staying this long, and I really appreciate the support, the comments, the engagements. Thank you so much, and may my God bless you all.